I've been in and around places like San Francisco and Seattle, these modern towns where anything goes. And I don't want to say anything bad about where you live. All I can say is that I don't think my politics would align with the Tel Avivian vibe.
How so? Tel Aviv is a party town where anything goes. And it's filled with really, really, really attractive people hanging out, the women wearing thongs on the beach playing volleyball. Often they play soccer volleyball, which is a variation. So they play volleyball with their feet and their heads, and windsurfing, and just frolicking madly. It is just an explosion of fun. And
it's too woke for me.
You won't get that feeling there. It's just like food, fun, dancing. I was shocked indeed. Now, I was there on Israeli Independence Day, Yom HaAtzmaut, so people were up all night partying, and I did not want to go to sleep. I was just like walking the streets, dancing in the street with strangers. It was quite remarkable.
But I just want to see these beautiful Israeli women in their military uniforms with their machine guns. I don't know if you take a look at those photographs. It's some of the most beautiful women on the planet.
I think they look great. The uniforms. Now, I guess I can say now that I was on the base called Trifin, which Yoav you'll know, and that's where I had my induction and my training and so forth. I was only there for a little bit, and I would say that we fell in love regularly with at a distance, in a kind of a platonic way, with the beautiful women in their uniforms. They do look wonderful, very cute. Also, they have we can leave a mute on David because he's feeding that. All right. Thank you, David. Can you mute up? Thank you. So they because they're women, they have to, of course, to carry their weapons, but they put little plushy stuffed animals on their straps that they use for the weapons over their shoulder, and that was also very cute.
It's an incredible place, Israel. If I were a neighboring group of people, I would say I would take inspiration for what is possible if you choose to live in civilized fashion. And it's right. Welcome, John. Welcome, John.
Hey, I'd like to talk about the title. I've been to Israel. I've enjoyed Tel Aviv and that sunset and the walk. Basically the boardwalk with these exercise equipment machines, which are not necessarily equipment. It's like you use your own body weight with all the workout equipment they have there. To me, it's one of the greatest beaches in the world, and I've been to Australia. I've been to the East Coast, West Coast. Tel Aviv has one incredible boardwalk. But in terms of how to have civil conversations on Clown House, I think, you have to contemplate what is the source of peace? What is the source of pleasantness? What is the source of joy? If you come on this app and you spew, conflict, if you just overtalk, if you yell, if you're extremely critical, extremely controversial, extremely antagonistic, if you're annoying, if your personality, needs rectification, you only have to contemplate where you came from and generally stop thinking, end your problems. The more you think, the more you speak, the further from the truth you're going to get. So in summation, I just want to say, if you want to have a civil conversation on Clubhouse and you're not finding civil conversation, or you yourself are not having civil conversations, just take the deepest breath of the day through your nose, hold it for 10 seconds, let it go, and now you're in the muff. And I encourage you to take the second deepest breath of the day, hold it for 10 seconds, let it go, and say, welcome to the muff.
I, as one man, will say that I am not averse to muff time.
I just wanted to bring everyone's attention. I'll post it up above. A new house has been created through the inspiration of very well-intended people on this app. I'd like to welcome to the room Anson. Anson, I think, is one of the most interesting and insightful people on this app. And so, Anson, did you want to start those rooms today or on Monday?
I'm ready to go today, whenever you want to do it.
Okay, so the time that we're going to select to do these rooms will be 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. It will, I wouldn't call it counter programming to another room, but I will say it'll be an alternative. Think of, ABC versus CBS. But with Anson at the helm, I think that what we might get is a more honest and more objective conversation, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm not planning to moderate these rooms the way that I would moderate my rooms. In fact, I'm going to promote them and let Anson lead the discussion. I'll participate in his request, but I hope that everybody will join. I will post a link to the house. It's called the Rational Discussion. Not to be confused with the person we're looking for. So the Rational Discussion. I will go ahead and I will post the link. We already have 300 plus people to this house. It's been created less than 24 hours ago. So thank you. I appreciate the inspiration and looking forward to the content.
Ken, you're in Vegas.
Well, I to help out and other mature people as you deem. My major point here is this is not for me to put my hand on the scale of. I simply want to invite people. I am the marketing wing of this endeavor, and I'm there to support it in that fashion.
My attorney said I can't disclose that, but what's the name of the house again?
It is the Rational Discussion Group. Why would someone not want to participate in rational discussions?
Maybe they're not rational.
What's today's topic?
You know what? We're going to play it by ear. I think whatever the critical thinking forum is doing, we'll just name our title the same thing, and we'll see. We'll let the people decide which room they prefer.
I'm going to assume you'll have chat open to further the competition against critical thinking.
Yes, we want to make sure that we are more inclusive. I think the decision to shut down the chat and to create a separate Facebook group was a mistake, but I think the biggest mistake in those rooms is shutting down different opinions. I think having a room where people are welcome to share their thoughts and to not discourage people that might think differently than you. I think this will be a more heterodox environment. And it might stream live on YouTube. I don't know.
Can I ask you a question, Anson? If you were president of the United States, or even king of the United States, what would be your top 3 priorities for your people?
National debt, deficit, etc., and economic. Trying to establish an upward trend
to achieve better equality, but the slope of that curve has to be well managed and steady instead of erratic aspirations for well, I'm struggling with it. I like to read about quantum theory, relativity, string theory, that kind of stuff. I can't do the math by any stretch, but I love the ideas and the concepts. And one of the things is that I read about in there is something called quantum jitter, and it's dramatic, unbelievable changes, turns, twists, and everything. And our politics has become almost akin to quantum jitter, rather than the slower Newtonian physics of a smooth universe with the Earth circling the sun's rotating within the galaxy moving slowly over the stars. But somehow we got to get rid of the quantum jitter. And the other thing that I would hope to do is to find some way to reach a fundamental agreement on what the problems are before we go tearing off into what the solution is for a perceived problem. I believe one of the reasons we have so much great dissensions, I call it the Great Divide, is we can't even agree on what the problem is. And we start arguing about solutions without agreeing on the fundamental problem. I'm not trying to lecture here, but that's a deep question. But those are some of the things that I would at least think about trying to do.
It's a much better answer than I would have given. Thank you. So I'm looking forward to this alternative to the Critical Thinking Forum. Just a place where people can get together, share their thoughts on topics, and not get shut down. It's my critique of that room is that the people that have the least insight are given the most talk time. There's no chat to push back on. There's no ability to rebuttal the nonsense that's said in those rooms. There was a person yesterday that made the comment that ICE agents are paid a commission for each person that they deport, and I fact checked that, and that's a lie. And it's interesting the things that Gary, as a journalist, chooses to push back on, and the things that he just allows to go on. So I'm hoping that people with a true journalistic spirit, people like El Normo that have worked as a journalist in the past, will attend these rooms in the rational discussion group, where we will have rational discussions, and we will allow differing opinions, and we will fact check people, and we will allow for real discussion to take place.
Well, I'm a Gary fan, and you know I'm a fan of you too, but I've heard Gary fact check people. He's sometimes distracted. Sometimes he'll come back in the next episode and say, I need to talk about this. And I think he went through a really bad time one day where his moderators didn't know what to do and the room was taken over. And he came up with the format that he has now that is hard because you have to wait to speak. It's hard to get to speak again. But I think he does try to have different viewpoints, and he does push back sometimes, and it is a little weird what triggers him. But I think he tries really hard.
I agree, and I'm actually a bit surprised, Roger. I know I'd like to.
it's not an echo chamber, if that's what you're implying. I mean, first of all, half his mods are conservative. And he
Are you referring to? Let's see. His mods are Scott Jones, who's not a conservative. You have Marshall, who I have a lot of respect for, but he's probably is smack dab in the middle of the political spectrum as you can get for being a Republican. And so, who would you say is the conservative of the room?
Marshall and that guy Alan, I think. I don't know Alan that well.
There's another Steve too that's on there all the time. He's a close friend of his with a southern accent who lost his son in Afghanistan.
But even aside from the mods, I think like he doesn't. He absolutely, like, in other words, he doesn't interrupt an opinion unless it's like a fact checking issue perhaps. But he rarely interrupts someone's share, whether they be on the left or the right. I think my biggest criticism for Gary's room is just he just needs to be. He lets people pontificate way too long, and again, both sides of the aisle. Whether it's
you shouldn't talk about Mon stuff without him being here to defend himself.
And I will say I'm almost ready to leave that room with Scott because Scott is word salad and and he's kissing up to Gary and they seem to both like it and I have a low tolerance for that now.
Can we agree that Scott sometimes can add interesting insights to religion conversations? His impersonation of Donald Trump is the worst ever. The worst impersonation of Donald Trump ever. On an app where people are really good at impersonating him, somebody needs to tell Scott that that's a bad impersonation.
So in the spirit of competition, are you going to make people download not Facebook Messenger, but maybe Yahoo? Yeah, instead of opening up chat rooms, I think that would really get his goat.
Now, here's a novel idea. I'm just going to utilize the tools that this app has provided so people can communicate with each other. They added the chat feature here 4 years ago. It's amazing.
Moderators, I would just like to quickly quote from the First Amendment of the Constitution where it says, prohibiting free exercise, abridging freedom of speech or press or right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for a redress of grievances. Do you think that, Gary Baumgarten's room doesn't necessarily reflect the First Amendment?
No, I don't think the First Amendment comes into play here. The First Amendment is the government can't restrict it, but as a moderator, you can do whatever you want. The question is the way that he restricts speech in terms of not allowing the chat and not allowing people to provide a pushback on people's comments. He doesn't allow for that. So basically, when people can make up lies and state them, they just get to stay. And there's people that are listening down below that might think it's true. In fact, the guy that said that the ICE agents were getting paid for every person they deport, there was a second person that said, I wanted to mention that too. And it's like, oh, so you want to repeat the lie. And so now it's been said twice and Gary's still not pushing back on it. And so, look, I like Gary. I do. I actually think that when Gary first got on this app, it was a breath of fresh air. I will even say that I've enjoyed his spaces over the years, and I really appreciate the consistency. I think what's happened, though, is he's allowed his personal opinions about Donald Trump to ruin what could be a good space and a good conversation. He's far too biased.
I'll give you 2 examples that have occurred recently. One was yesterday, where yet again we were going to have a topic, tariffs, good or bad. And I posted in the chat, I wasn't going to engage in that discussion, but I posted it, but I engaged in the chat. And I said, it's too soon to tell. Why don't we wait a while and see and then argue about it? And he really took exception to that. And he claimed that there was no argument, that it was all a peaceful exchange of ideas. Well, it was for that room yesterday, because everybody in that room yesterday, the only argument was how they could greater demean Trump and any concept of terrorism. There was nobody in that room, and I'm not a fan of terrorists, but there's nobody in that room that I heard, and I left sometime after 5. I didn't wait for the very end. But there was no argument, because that room yesterday was an echo chamber. Everybody that wants to oppose tariffs joined the room, and the only differential was who could more strongly oppose tariffs and who could more strongly demean the delusional Trump for ever even thinking of it in the first place. That was the straw that broke the camel's back, and I wrote a 2-page email private to Gary that I'm not going to share with anybody. The other one was a week or so ago, and I can't even remember the topic of the room, but it was controversial, and I shared early, without any particular strong views, went to the audience, and over the course of the rest of the room, the rhetoric was again bordering on Trump derangement syndrome. I don't like that. I agree with Gary. That's a disease. I don't like that, but I haven't figured out the best acronym for it. But then I came back up on the stage, and because of the nature of the rhetoric that I heard, and I was I think I was the last one to speak, and I didn't try to counter the outrageous comments that were made. I just advised that there would be caution and careful analysis, blah, blah, blah. And Gary's response to me was, "Oh, you're in favor of polluted rivers in Cleveland, right?" And I said, "Bullshit," and left the room. That's the way that room has been trending for some time. And I don't have any personal intention of being the ramrod to counter room Gary. I'm too old. I don't have the skills. Hell, I don't even know how to pick a moderator or move people up and down from the stage. My geek skills are terrible. But I am looking, I just told Roger, I said, where in the hell can we find some more rational discussion? And all of a sudden, we now have a room. Again, I want to participate in it, and I want to contribute to it, and I want to do it in a balanced, reasonable manner without anybody dominating. But I'm not sure that I have the temperament and the personal computer skills to be able to be the guy in charge. Somebody else really needs to skipper that ship, and I'll be a loyal junior officer. Would be my. All
right, you twisted my arm. I'll do it.
There you go, Mojo. And well, to that point though of a balanced room, and Anson's point about having a well-moderated, balanced discussion. So far, I haven't heard anyone who may represent the left that might be moderator in that room, or is that just even too brazen of a thought to even consider?
I'll tell you somebody who has calmed down a hell of a lot since the election, and boy, did I! How about Meryl? I mean, I would welcome the opportunity to co-moderate a room with Meryl, because she's left, but. I mean, I would welcome the opportunity to do that. I don't know whether she'd touch it with a 10-foot pole, but I agree with you. If Steve and I are only, and Mojo are the only, or Roger are the only moderators up there, everybody's going to say, "Oh, this is another crazy righty room. I don't want to have anything to do with it."
She and Howard have moderated rooms, and they've done a great job.
Yeah.
I guess Meryl can be wordy, but when she's out of Gary's room, and they go back a long time. But there's an unusual amount of mayoral hate. I don't know how to say it on this app. I'm always shocked by it. But I would love to have her up there and see how it works.
And I agree with Howard. I've always been impressed with Howard. I'm looking for balance. I'm not looking for, I want to participate in a well-balanced room where people are allowed to speak and have an exchange of conversation, not just you speak for 2 or 3 minutes and you slam down back to the audience and all you have left is you can flash mojos. That drives me nuts. I like a conversation.
You know what? You guys can laugh at me. You can say it doesn't work. You can say the audio is terrible, but we do that every night on Spaces with our own topic, and we moderate it well. We people popcorn speak. We control the room and bring up new people, kick out the trolls, and it can work over there. And you only have 12 people speaking. So
what room is that, David?
That's our Tesla room on Spaces, X Spaces, almost every night.
That's on X, not on Clubhouse. Hell, I don't even know how to get onto X. That's how old I am.
Same here, Anthony. No, thank you.
Well, it's not the best stable format, but first of all, you only have 12 people that can talk, and you can rotate them up and down. And it's kind of interesting because the whole world is listening. But just like everything else, a well-moderated room can flourish.
Absolutely. And I will say, I think that you guys are right about we need the balance. We need to have people that feel very passionate about their viewpoints. I want to hear from somebody that thinks that $37 trillion worth of debt is a terrible idea. And then I want to hear from the person that thinks that $37 trillion worth of debt is not only not a bad idea, but maybe we should add to it. I want to hear those different viewpoints. And so that's what I'm here for, is to make sure that we hear both views.
But how are you going to do that, Mojo, when you only have moderated conservatives?
Listen, anyone that knows me knows that I welcome people. And by the way, I'm an equal opportunity offender. I don't think that you're going to find anybody on this app that has more consistently ran rooms that were critical of Donald Trump and Donald Trump's policies over the time that I've been on this app. Honestly, I don't think there's a single person in the lefty rooms that have done that. I'm certainly not MAGA. I'm not even a Republican. I'm now post-partisan. I used to be a libertarian. I think that I stand in a different camp. Some Republicans do stand with me, and because I'm a capitalist at the end of the day, and so I stand against these newfangled MAGA Republicans that are anti-capitalism. They're economic interventionists. And my question is if economic interventionists are to the left of you and economic interventionists are to the right of you, why not stand somewhere else?
Right, and I agree. I will agree that you are one of the more fair from the right. I would put JB in the same category. He slammed Trump quite a bit. I respect that. He's a great moderator. But again, maybe I'm not wording the question correctly. I'm not saying that you as a moderator are not fair. I'm saying, like as Anson agreed with me earlier, when someone joins the room and they look at all the green beans, and albeit as fair as you are, everyone with the green bean has a reputation or is at least known for their views as being right and or conservative leaning.
So this is what I'm
doing. That is not a well-balanced room.
Then this is what I'll do, Moose. I will solo mod. I will flex the solo mod, and I will invite everyone. We will not look. If we could get balance, if we get real balance, if you got, if somebody from a very vocal member of the left wanted to, let's say if Aram wanted to show up and talk about the things that he cares about. He's been, for 4 years, he's got this talk point about the average American does not have $1,000 for a single emergency. if he wants to come and say that, he's welcome to. And if somebody else wants to push back, that's great. What I'm going to do, though, I will tell you, in this particular space, it's going to be a lot less about my opinion, because I think the error that I've witnessed with Gary is injecting his viewpoint, which he's biased. We're all biased, but I want to curate a stage where if Anson presents an idea and somebody presents a counter idea, I would like, rather than going to the next speaker that wants to change the subject, I'd rather them go back and forth a little bit and maybe even put a poll in the room of see how it's tracking, that sort of thing.
Boy, that is superb. But Moose is right. We've got to get people from the left, at least reasonable people. I mean, if we get trolled from the left, and by the way, I don't mind being a co-moderator with you, Roger, but I don't need to do that either, but I mean, if it's going to be a balanced room, we've got to get a balance, a divergence of opinions, but we also have to be damn sure that we are arguing about a problem that we mutually agree is a problem, rather than we don't even have a problem with 20 million people residing in our country that are doing so without the permission of the government. Some people don't even think that's a problem. Well, if you don't think that's a problem, then trying to find a solution to it is going to be counterproductive, if you get my gist.
I'm going to say one thing, Anson. I'll be real quick. Even if you don't want to moderate, you should have a moderator badge, because you can interject more quickly and guide the conversation. And believe it or not, if you can run a submarine, which I think you did very well, and you're a graduate of War College, you can learn the buttons for moderation.
I honestly, this would be like a wardroom discussion on whether we should go right, left, or stay where we are with the whole wardroom, even though I'm the skipper and will make the ultimate decision. I won't be the skipper of the room. I won't make the ultimate decision, but I certainly know how to stimulate conversations.
Yes.
As long as we stay on topic and agree. Again, I can't, sometimes I have a hard time trying to figure out what the problem is that we're arguing about.
Well, we'll give you a nuclear button too.
Well, back in the day, one of my nicknames was Reactor Red. And I did have red hair. I didn't have gray hair. But I will absolutely, under Roger's guidance and mentorship, I will do my best not to be Reactor Red in that room.
It'll be a hoot. I think it'll be good. I do think the framing of the conversation is important, though. And I like the idea of, do we agree that it's a problem? Because I think that we can all agree. I think most rational human beings can agree that $37 trillion worth of debt is a bad idea. And then it comes down to, well, what's the solution? And some people might argue that you just need to print more money. And then others would argue that, no, that's probably a bad idea. Maybe that's how we got to this point.
So what does Moose say?
Moose, you're a man of the left. Why don't you come and represent the left?
I thought Moose.
Do I have to sign in contracts or NDAs?
Repeating yourself all the time.
No, Moose. You just have to show up and speak your truth, your lived experience.
Well, strange things have happened.
I have a suggestion for that kind of room, if I may.
Oh, we'd love to hear it. We're open to even having women speak on these stages. Go ahead, Kristen.
So, speakers have a minimum of 30 seconds to make their point, and there's a moment of pause, and then the next person can have 30 seconds to make their point.
30 seconds is, I don't want wordy, but 30 seconds is not enough always.
Is it about what?
I agree with where you're going, so people aren't going on for 5 minutes. I believe a minute might be a better.
You'd be surprised at how long 30 seconds is.
I speak for a living in a group that we're timed. Okay, I know how long it is.
No. Yeah.
So what if I give a visual cue? You guys okay with a visual cue? This is the one that I give.
For what?
To let people know that
to wrap it up, when he has somebody, he does a GIF with somebody pointing at his watch. I like it.
Well, but what I'm saying is, if you to come in for, I have to try very hard in order to be concise, and I think that it would be great. It would behoove everybody if they try to as well.
Shakespeare says, perfect. Shakespeare says that brevity is the soul of wit.
Well, some people don't care about being witty. That's the problem.
Some people just like to hear their own voice. I agree.
Good Lord, they just like to get up there and just, let me tell you about all these things. And then here, you guys have never even heard about these things because you guys have never even heard the news in the past 6 months.
James Rosenzweig can't come on?
To your point, Moja, I think there's, I believe the quote is, say much with few words. Excuse me. Don't say little with few words. Stand by.
I love, well, better to remain silent.
Wasn't that impressive? Wasn't that impressive? Like, you want to hire me to speak at your engagement? Here he goes. It's esophagus.
Better to remain silent and thought a fool than open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Well, let me
Much with you. Thank you.
Let me offer a counter perspective to Kristen's suggestion. John asked me, I think it was John, asked me a question that was a tough question. And I probably took, I don't remember what I took, but I was struggling to come up with an answer. There was, the first one was pretty hard. But I hope I was making progress in articulating and holding the attention of the room. So as long as somebody is doing that, then a reasonable amount of time, 2-3 minutes, something, give them it. I don't want to turn this into you only like Twitter or whatever it was, where you could only use 140 words. If we go back to that, then the ability to have an interesting conversation. I mean, how would you like to have a conversation where you can only speak for 30 minutes and 30 seconds in a conversation? I mean, we need to stimulate conversations that are meaningful, offer a divergence of views, are rational, and are polite and respectful.
I concur. However, I have to rebuttal because as a female, I'm often cut off in these rooms. I notice that other women are cut off as well. They do have a tendency of being as concise as possible. In addition to all the other people, I would say that Monica and Issa are excellent at not being moved by other people giving kind of distortions or trying to interrupt them and other things during other manipulations during a conversation or something like that. But it's just one of those things that some people don't mind interrupting. Some people don't mind they think that taking a moment to think means interrupting. And we don't, if you want to go back to the whole rules of what like, oh, okay, well, here I am, and I land my plane, and so you know when to come in. We go back to that. That's pretty civil, but it's also very formal, and I do like to hear the impassioned responses. It's pretty cool. But it is like, without totally being a manners Nazi, for lack of a better word. It would be really great to somehow kind of encourage people to hear each other out. And perhaps timing may be that, but perhaps not.
So, Kristen, I appreciate the
Yes, darling.
I appreciate the comments. I would propose that we go back to the original format that was respectful for the vision impaired that were on the app. And at the end of our submission, we would say, my name is Mojo and I am complete. And then once you say you're complete, then you're done.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like what Kristen said. Sorry, go ahead, Kristen.
Voice background here. I was on it just about.
Yeah, I was just going to say real quick, because I have to go, but I like that. What Kristen shared, and I agree with you, Mojo. Let's go back to season 1. And further, I would say, since this is the new house, I think it would behoove us to go over some basic house cleaning rules, what will and will not be tolerated.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is good. Let me read the rules to the current house that we're in.
Yeah. So ping me later. I'm happy to do this as an experiment and mod with you. Anyone who's any of my lefty friends who sees me modding and thinks I've gone to the dark side, well, they can go roller skate and juggle dynamite.
Awesome. Well, we're going to start that room in less than 30 minutes. If you can join, please do. It'll start at 2 o'clock Pacific time, 5 o'clock Eastern.
Mod in here, I don't know whether Abby,
I'm thinking of this because I'm talking about State Parkway right now.
Are you the same Andy that I've been exchanging views with of late? Because you're new to me. Okay, I like your style, and if we need women up there, I would really love to participate in those kind of conversations with you.
I like the way you frame that as if.
I push back Kristen on a little bit of what you said, and so no personal attacks. When you're method versus my method. Sometimes we have people in rooms that have to be exposed, and there's so much false narrative that's being said. So obviously I come from a different style, and it can get on because I will sometimes
stay on topic. Number 4, keep your shares brief. Number 5, do not interrupt speakers, especially mods. Number 6, mods may interject when appropriate. Number 7, the N-word is forbidden on stage and in chat. Number 8, do not spam the chat. Number 9, do not bring drama here from other rooms. Number 10, English only. Thoughts?
Can I modify something?
You can recommend it and we'll talk about it. The addition, I'll be honest, I've heard that word 3 times since I've been on this app. And by the way, it's always in the same space. It's where you find what they refer to as conservatives, but they're actually not. That conservative wing of Clubhouse that started with guys like Alex New York, and it attracts like people like the Geos of the world. Those are the spaces where I hear the K word. I've heard it about 3 times since I've been on.
The mirror room is awesome.
So when somebody breaks the rule, I have no idea what the K word is. That's how old I am.
It's a slur for Jewish people.
Got it. 4-letter. Got it.
Yep. It's a naughty word, and point taken, Abby. I will update it. Thank you.
And like the S word, that's 4-letter for Hispanics.
Yeah, but I'm kind of attached to that one.
I feel radical, like, and it could be shot down. No big deal.
No, go for it.
It could be old school.
Tonight we're letting women speak tonight. Go ahead.
Actually, you're really good at fighting for women to speak. I will give you credit for that. Absolutely, I really appreciate that too. And also for being the champion for people being really disrespectful. So I appreciate that. I love the back channel. It's so funny because I love words and I love hearing people being witty, especially like.
I love your back channel too.
Yeah, and so Darren is hilarious in his wit, and I'm so sorry. I have to give him a huge shout out because he's always so funny with his, talking about like whatever is going on in the room, and is totally dead on with a lot of the comments and everything. It is just hilarious, and Christy is too, and calling out like what is going on, and it's really really funny. However, I kind of, and so I hate to lose that. But there is something about just, especially with such a live room and with such incredible minds being able to exchange ideas. It'd be really cool to hear people talking without the back channel. Because I think it's not quite disruptive. It's just, it broadens the focus. And it would be neat to see if the focus that I know Christy throws tomatoes at me. All right, you can shut it down. The idea if you don't want it, but hey, Serenity, I didn't ask your opinion.
I got a quick question for
yes, sir.
David over here. Are you the guy from Southern California? I looked at that frequently. You keep changing your PTRs. Are you the guy from Southern California that is have strong objections to Trump all the time? And I don't care if that's.
I think you're thinking of David Garcia.
That's a different David Aston.
Got it. Okay, all right.
I'm in the Pacific Northwest, the north left coast.
All right, got it.
So, can I ask you a question? What are you thinking about the room title for your first room and rational discussion group in the next 15 minutes?
I'm going to wait to see what Gary does, and then I'm just going to use a similar title.
So,
You already announced what it is.
What's his title?
It's about Trump using the military to go in foreign countries to bust up drug cartels using actual military forces.
Is this already advertised in his?
Gary's title is "Should U.S. Troops Be Used to Fight Cartels?"
choices here. Which room they want to go to. Amazing.
So when
Mojo, I have a question. Sorry. I have moves blocked. This usually means it's pro.
No, so let me say it. So Moose is left of center. Moose is a rational guy. I disagree with him on a lot of things. But no, he's not a radical to anything. Now, what you may have heard him say is he might share opinions around, like, I don't know, being critical of Netanyahu or something like that. That might be something I can imagine that you might have, decided that you didn't like him over.
No, I don't know. That wouldn't be enough for me to block him. I probably had him say genocide or something like this.
Maybe, but sometimes people get caught up in the wordplay of, like, somebody else says it, so then they just repeat it. I would imagine that if you were to corner him and ask him what he thinks is happening, it would be surprising to me if he would refer to it as genocide.
Okay, thank you.
Another language for a second, Yoav. Ein baya b'Yisrael. Ein baya.
English only.
I'm sorry. They didn't have a problem with it. And you know my best. And he and I get along. And so I will tell you if I thought that.
I have to ask, I mean this with utmost respect. So this new room is just going to mimic his topics? That's our sole purpose? I don't think we should, but
I think that's a good starting point because it basically it's like a little wink and a nod of like, hey, we're not really crazy about what you were doing, so we're doing this thing. But I think it would get boring real fast to do that. So we also don't want to be limited to what he's talking about. But I think for the first couple, I think it's a good idea to do that. It's just a little shot across the bow in a friendly way. By the way, I actually like Gary, so I'm just critical of the way that the rooms have evolved lately.
I'm disappointed. I actually thought I had the temerity and ego to think that Mojo had created a house just to maximize my skill set of facilitating civil discourse. Now I've learned it's just a Gary echo. So sad.
Can I just say that is the voice of an angel. Thanks for showing up, Monica.
You're welcome. Hey, seriously.
so wait, Monica, you're
as for room topics, one has passed my mind as we've been having this 45-minute discussion, and it's right in my wheelhouse. Are we closer? Do you believe that we're closer to nuclear war than ever since the Cuban Missile Crisis?
Yeah, but I still think we're a ways away.
Yeah, I agree, but that's of course, I'm not just focused on military stuff, but those are the kinds of broad topics. Is it a problem? And if so, what are we going to do about it?
well, do you want to talk about it right now, or you want to wait till the round?
No. I'm just suggesting that there are interesting topics that we don't have to just follow Gary's lead and let him dictate the topics. We can do that. I agree, Mojo or Roger. Let's start off that way, but let's don't in any way allow that to restrict ourselves.
So when you say that this room, one of the rules is stay on topic, I mean, to me, the topic is how to have civil conversations. And so it does seem to me like people are actually staying on topic at this very moment. But I'm wondering, will the rational discussion group also demand that people stay on topic? Because to me, I've heard you say before, Mojo, John has listened to all the bullshit you guys just spewed. You can't listen to him for 30 seconds, 60 seconds. So I'm just asking if, how are you determining what's topical? Because if I think it's off topic and then I, want to read, let's say, Bible flashcards, to me, that might be more topical than what the people have been talking about for the past, 30 minutes, 10 minutes, etc.
I think the goal of conversation
conversation on the topic at hand.
Specifically, what he's asking you is, irregardless of the fact that he is asking if he can derail conversations with impunity. That's what I heard anyway.
No, that's not true. I don't want to derail conversations, but I want intelligence. And if I think that we just listen to a bunch of garbled, Elon Musk calls politics. There's a lot of friction or like wire disruption. I can't remember the term he uses. I'm just saying that it's up to the moderator to truly guide the conversation. And a lot of people, it becomes this circular flow conversation between one or two people that can't break in. It's like we need strong leadership in the moderator. That's all I'm saying.
One of my other reputations during my time in service, well, actually my whole professional career, was I had a pretty good bullshit detector.
Nice. John, can I ask you a frank question?
You talking to me?
No, I'm talking to John. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Well, I was wondering, so is this the saying ask instead of ask? Is this a thing that is going to you use on a continual basis?
Are you asking me a question about ask the word?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with the way I'm saying ask?
I don't know. Is there? Because I wonder if you're being inflammatory or if you're wanting to have a civil conversation.
Well, you're asking me if the way I'm saying ask is intentional, but that doesn't violate one of the rules of the house, no, does it? Is that a question? Can I ask you that question?
It doesn't, but I'm wondering if you're trying to make friends or you're trying to make a statement.
I'm trying to call attention to words, and so when people ask me about asking questions, I ask them what they think ask means when I say it. But I find it interesting that people always want to ask me why I'm using the word ask as opposed to the word ask.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question?
Anson, is your bullshit detector going off? Just checking.
Yes.
Oh, can I ask you a question, Kristen?
I'm sorry, can I repeat the question?
I'd like to ask you a question. What are the funded debt liabilities of the of the federal government, the United States of America, and what are the unfunded debt liabilities of the United States government?
Yeah, so again, are you wanting to have a civil conversation or are you trying to antagonize me with that kind of language?
No, I'm just asking you, how would you find out that information? What is the debt, the funded and the unfunded debt liabilities of the United States government?
Hey, John, did you get any rest last night?
I did. I actually went to sleep at a good hour, hit the gym yesterday, and I'm just really looking forward to having rational discussion group. Kristen, do you think you're going to be able to have a rational discussion in the rational discussion group?
When you woke up, you went to the gym?
No, not yet. I'm going to go in a little bit after a suntan.
Go to the gym and come back.
Okay, thank you very little, Tamak. Let me ask you. Go ahead, Hakima.
You in Illinois, correct?
Correct. I'm in Chicago, Illinois. No doxing now.
Okay, this is no threat, no violence, none of that, but let's sit down and have a beer. And I just want to have a conversation. I want to see what you're like. Like, do you have to say in public or?
Yeah, sure thing. Come meet me. I'll send you the link. You can come meet me at the Dock Restaurant Bar where the Lady Hawk, my sailboat, is at, and I will buy you a beer. Thanks for asking that question. I can't wait to meet you, Hakima.
Okay, let me know a good time and I'll be there.
Okay, sounds good. Let's do it this Sunday at noon. I'll put the address in the chat. See you Sunday at noon at the Dock. And they've got great pilsners. They've got incredible imports. They got Polish beer. You are gonna love the beer selection.
Don't wear a tight shirt. Okay?
Shirts off at the beach.
I just checked the clubhouse events, and oh my God, here we go. At the top of the list was the critical thinking forum, and right beneath it is the rational discussion group. That's gonna set off all kinds of shit.
You know what? Let's do this. This will be the only time we directly copy their topic. We will come up with our own ideas, but we have to do the little wink to them. I think this is only appropriate.
I agree. It'll be interesting to see how many people pop in and pop out to see what the hell's going on. This ought to be fun, at least for a day. Thanks, Roger.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna start in 7 minutes too. So, and the other thing is I had nothing scheduled, rehearsed, anything. I didn't know until a minute ago what the title was, but I do have some thoughts on the topic of that room, which is should U.S. troops fight drug cartels? It's a very interesting topic, I think. I've got my thoughts, but it'd be interesting to hear what everybody else has to say.
I have some initial thoughts as well, but I don't have a set opinion, and I look forward to a rational discussion. Surprise.
Hooray! Hey, Ron, that reminds me of, should you jump into, you see two junkies fighting, and one's a woman, one's a man, and the man hits her, should you jump in? Me personally, when I see a woman getting assaulted, which I've only seen a couple times in my life, I am absolutely compelled, not necessarily to involve myself completely, but I will try to minimize the and reduce the escalation if I can.
Yeah, I agree. This is kind of the thing. It seems simple, but it could be complicated sometimes. Will you punch the guy in the face, or do you say, hey, he's up?
So here's an interesting thing. I did a police ride-along once, and in this police ride-along, there was they had pulled over a car that was suspected of a shooting at a wedding reception, and they pulled the suspects out of the car. I was allowed to get out of the car at that stop. They were pulling suspects that were suspected of a shooting. I was able to get out of the car and be in, I don't know if that was a safe place to be or not. But when I was on that same ride along and there was a domestic dispute, it was requested that I remain in the car because the domestic disputes are so dangerous and volatile that they didn't want the ride along to be present there. So I had to stay in the car for that. Very interesting.
That makes sense.
Do you think
The domestic situation can escalate. The shooting already over with. So they investigate, but they don't want you to walk into something domestic. Somebody go, you should get you fucked up.
Wait a minute, hold on. Mike is saying he's starting his room at 3:55 now. What time zone is that? Do you mean, okay.
It's on East Coast time.
LS Love says, I'll be leaving this room because John is a racist, unfunny a-hole. I don't think that's very fair, and I don't think that's within the spirit of the title of the room here.
Well, actually, if I can ask that person a question, if you think the word ask used by me indicates that I'm a racist, I would just merely point out that you're being fooled by a speaker using words intentionally to gaslight you. And part of, stoicism, enlightenment deals with, in my opinion, how do we deal with people's communication? Because the brain automatically responds to obnoxious, people, and you will meet obnoxious people dirty people, smelly people, loud people, all day, every day. So what I'm trying to demonstrate is.
Pause that thought. Monica, can you? I'm gonna go open that room. Can you post it so people can move over there? By the way, I don't know why Christy is riding the nuts of Gary so hard. There is nothing that Gary has ever done for Christy, ever. So, Monica, if you could go ahead and put that in the jumbotron above, that would be great. I'm gonna go open that room. Monica, can you do that? Are you listening?
She'd be right back.
Okay. Serendipity, are you able to do that?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, perfect. I'm gonna go open it. Thank you.
This is going to be exciting for people in the audience who may not be aware. Mojo, the positive vibration experience, is opening up his first room in Rational Discussion Group, where he will be parroting Gary Baumgarten's War on Drugs. Should we use Pete Hegseth and the Pentagon to attack international narco-terrorists? Very shortly. Oh, what's her face left? Oh, she's going to go get the link. And then she's going to pin the link at the top. Then you're going to click through and engage in the new Rational Discussion Group.
I see you and you rock. I said I see you and you rock.
Anson, how are you? Oh, look, we've got some guests that are showing up here. We got the world famous John Kitover. He's running for Congress, in case you guys didn't know. Let's see. Get some people invited. I'm going to invite some people to the room. We'll get started in just a minute. What we lack in professionalism of starting on time, we make up for with a heterodox conversation where we welcome polite, informed opinion and dissent. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to chat open. This might be a new experience for some of you that might be familiar with other rooms that move their chat to Facebook for those that have that app downloaded. So we're going to get. Oh, Marshall's here. Look, we've got the crew together. Let me bring some people to the stage. I want to bring some of my favorite people to the stage. Republicans, Democrats, Independents, they're all welcome. I think the important thing to recognize here is that if you're going to have a good conversation, you've got to welcome varying opinions. And what we have here is varying opinions. I'm going to moderate a couple of people that I think might sit on different sides of the political spectrum, reasonable-minded people. And this is not to say that I agree with them, because I may disagree with them. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that the room is balanced and that everyone's opinion is welcome, including Marshall's. So the Rational Discussion